Hey kids, John here. I wanted to talk about communication, learning, and asking questions. We've got unprecedented capability to communicate with each other. We've got access through websites and forums and social media. And this access gives us the capability to communicate on a very rapid level across broad spectrums. I advocate doing research. When you simply ask a question to hopefully get a quick answer, and sometimes it's the answer you want to hear. I just want to confirm what I already know. Okay. You're not learning. Doing your own research is huge. You can learn a great deal about multiple things when you do your own research. If you have a general question about trumpet playing, trumpets, mouthpieces, whatever, a general question, any kind of gear, do a Google search. I've literally answered people's questions by taking their question, copying it, pasting it in to the Google search, hitting go, and then going up and copying the URL that is the result of the search and sending it back to that person as the answer. There's no way I know as much as a Google search. There's no way. So when you do your own research, what you're doing is you're developing research skills, and you're developing these skills that, okay, you ask the question in Google and a bunch of links come up, and you click on these links, you're going to find out that some of them are good information and some of them are not so good information, and some sources are awesome and some aren't. So it helps you find the places where the answers exist. Okay? Asking a question and have a forum link pop up is cool because that question's been asked. You're not in the forum re-asking the question. Okay? So you can engage that answer in the context of a question that's already been asked. Google searches are awesome. They're a great tool. I highly recommend them. Now, when you have specific questions about a company's gear, I don't recommend going into the forum and asking a specific question about a company's gear. I recommend going to their website and doing a little bit of research. Once again, we want the quick answer. Just give me that quick answer. What's the best mouthpiece for me? Boom, black. Oh, here it is. And then you spend your money and maybe not the best mouthpiece for you. Okay. So if you have specific questions about a particular manufacturer's gear, go to their website. And then if you don't find the answers you're looking for on that website, contact the company. Go to their contact us and ask them a question. When you contact a company, I cannot stress this enough. When you contact a company, go through their contact information on their website. That'll probably drop you into an email, and they'll return an email to you. If you contact the company through a forum that company happens to be part of a forum, and you ask them a question on the forum, you may not get an answer. If you ask a question on a YouTube channel, you may not get an answer. Ask the question on Facebook or Instagram, you may not get an answer. Contact the company directly by going to their website, their contact page, and then going in that way. Once you've done that, stay with that email process. Because if you deviate and then all of a sudden ask a follow-along question on their Facebook page, they may not put two and two together because you may have an email that doesn't say who you are, and now you're asking a follow-on question as your Facebook entity. Stay with one way of contact, and the best way is through the email format. It's absolutely the best way to talk to companies. They get continuity and can help you the best that way. Now, if you do have a question and you want to find out what people think of this company's gear, then go into the forums and ask that question, or go on a group or a page or whatever and ask that question and get some feedback from people that have actually used the gear. That's a great idea. When you're contacting individuals or even a company, and asking questions. Ask questions that you want to learn and answer. You want to receive information, okay? Why would I say that? Okay, because it seems obvious, right? There are times when we have a personal bias and we believe something to be true, whether we believe it to be an absolute or not. When I say absolute, if this, then that. That's an absolute. Not if this, possibly that. That's not an absolute. If this, then that is an absolute. So there's times where we have these absolutes in our mind, and we ask a question, and the answer comes back, and it doesn't agree with what we believe. This is trumpet playing. Okay? This is trumpet playing. It's an art, and there are many ways to approach it. And there's also science that's involved, and there's different ways of approaching the science that's involved in making and constructing the instruments and mouthpieces. So there's also experiential information from the experience of a person that's a player or a manufacturer or a professional in the industry. So all these things that mix together, there are a lot of points of reference, okay, that when you're looking at the same equation from a different angle, it looks differently and you may have a different opinion about it. When you're asking questions of a person or even a company, ask a question that you actually want to gain information from. Not just get an answer, but actually gain information. Okay, I'm going to give an example, and the conclusion of this offers such an amazing conclusion. It's fantastic. A person asked a world-class player why they played such a big B cup mouthpiece when smaller mouthpieces or shallower mouthpieces are easier to play in the upper register, and that even a C cup mouthpiece would be easier to play. There's so much in this kitchen now. We're ready to cook so much stuff. Okay, so interesting. You play a big mouthpiece, why wouldn't you play a smaller mouthpiece? I think is really the essence of the question, which is fine. So when the first answer came back from posing this question, it wasn't by the world-class player, it was from another trumpet player. And the answer was, well, sound might be a possibility. In other words, they preferred the sound of the larger mouthpiece. Absolute possibility. But the bias came snapping back, which is interesting, because the bias all of a sudden says, well, a C cup has a great sound in my humble opinion. Ooh, your opinion no longer is humble. Your opinion is biased, and I see where it's going. And then further communication happened, and the common thread was shallower mouthpieces are easier to play. Okay, so your bias is that this mouthpiece is too big. The answer finally came. Within the context of this answer was such a gorgeous broth of information that it could be used. You could ladle this stuff out and put it in many different answers. First off, the answer was the mouthpiece was great for the type of playing that they did. Awesome. And it was really a good mouthpiece for them as a player. And when combined with the type of playing they did, it completely was the right mouthpiece. And then the mind-blowing one was that they had tried to play shallower mouthpieces and they could not play them because they got too bunched up in them. Uh-oh, wait a minute, my personal bias, a shallower mouthpiece is easier to play. I can't play a shallower mouthpiece easier. I have to play a bigger mouthpiece. Okay. If this, then that, be real careful of those, okay, in the music world. This is an art, okay? The human factor is gigantic. The first thing that was being not even considered in any of this is that particular player's lip penetration. If they have severe or pronounced, I don't want to say severe, but pronounced lip penetration, then they're filling the cup with their chops, and as soon as you fill the cup with your lips, I mean, if this is normal lip penetration and they have pronounced penetration, all of a sudden that cup is not a B cup anymore, is it? Okay? Boom. There's so many aspects about the world we live in as trumpet players that you really should avoid having absolutes that must be true. Don't ask questions with a personal bias. Take your bias, set it aside, and ask the question with the concept of, I want to learn something here. I want to gain some information that's going to help me as a player and a person. When you close yourself off like this and are unwilling to see that there are other ways of looking at things, you're closing yourself off to such a beautiful world of discovery. Communication is awesome. Be respectful of each other out there. And ask questions if you want an answer that is going to inform you, not confirm you. Till next time, take it easy, kids.